Back's turn. Origi turn, shoots.
Build the dream in FIFA 20, pay less and get more, and use the code TVM at checkout for a bigger discount. What is going on, guys? TVM here. Welcome to Team of the Week predictions, sort of. So, whereas normal Team of the Week predictions will show you a 23-man squad of players that they think will appear, maybe with a few possibles here or there, I'm just going to show you players who I think have done well in the real world of football through the major top 5 leagues and then a scattering of players throughout the smaller leagues. I don't necessarily think that they're guaranteed informs or even EA will consider them. I just want to point out that these players have played well and they deserve to be recognised, whether it be by a card in a game or whether it just be by someone mentioning them in a video. It tends to go unnoticed in terms of FIFA how well someone plays. So without any further ado, what I want to do is go through these players. I will have a little check mark or something next to them to say whether I think that they will be featured in Team of the Week. Otherwise, they're just going to be there for the sake of me mentioning them because they've played well, and I think that that's warranted. So up first, we're going to have Pickering of Crew. He managed a goal and played very, very well for a left back, to be fair. But again, because he's only 70, or he would be only 70 rated, I just feel like EA would ignore this. He made 2 clearances, he blocked 2 shots, made 1 interception, played an 8.4, and he played the full 90 as well. But EA won't pay any attention to that, but it's just worth a mention. His teammate Lowry in there as well, with 2 goals this time, played a 9.0. And again, for a central midfield player, that is very, very big. But he was only likely to be around 70 rated. They may take him up to a 74 if they're feeling generous, but chances are he will remain as a silver card anyway. But he's played very well in that game. Flinders, got to be Flinders, it can't be Flanders, can it? No, Flinders. He obviously plays for Cheltenham, and he has played an 8.8 in goal for them, keeping a clean sheet, making 7 saves. He made 1 high claim, and he made 5 saves from inside the penalty area as well. So very impressive game for him. Moving on to the Championship with Wells of QPR. He managed 2 goals. He only played 77 minutes, actually got subbed off, but from 3 shots on target, 2 goals, playing an 8.4 in a 2-1 win over Millwall. I think that's a pretty good performance, and I think he's in the Championship Team of the Week as well, so definitely deserves a mention. Moving on to Phillips of West Brom. He played an 8.6. He also got 2 goals. And of course, being not a striker then, a right mid or a midfielder in general, you think that's maybe slightly more impressive? I'm not quite sure. But either way, West Brom beat Huddersfield 4-2. And that is a pretty impressive feat and definitely, again, deserves a mention. And finally, for the Championship, we are going to talk about Dunkley. Wigan beat Charlton 2-0. This guy is a centre-back and he scored both goals. So, this one is a bit of a no-brainer, actually. This one I've got marked down as an inform because he has to be acknowledged in the game. I don't know whether anybody's going to want the card, but he definitely deserves it. I'm going to 100% mispronounce this, and I apologise. Ikpeazu of Hearts as a striker, 1 goal, 1 assist. Definitely worth a mention. 100% not going to get an inform in FIFA. I will discard Gareth Bale if this guy is in Team of the Week. But yeah, definitely worth a mention because that league just gets no love from EA. Moving on to Eduard of Celtic. Again, I probably mispronounced that, but that looks like a decent card. He's doing much what Dembele did, making a name for himself, and I'm sure he'll be off in the summer. But again, a very good performance for Celtic this week. They won 3-1 over Kilmarnock, and he got 2 goals in that game as well. So pretty damn impressive. But you can't mention Celtic in a football video without mentioning Rangers, so we might as well talk about Jermaine Defoe as well. Rangers, of course, beating St Johnstone 4-0. Defoe heavily involved, scoring a couple of goals in that one as well. Not the best of cards these days, Jermaine Defoe. What is he, 47? Something of that nature. But would be nice to see it, but I just don't see any of these players getting any love because EA have an agenda against the SPFL. 2 players from the Turkish league worth mentioning. Cisse up first for his performance against Fenerbahce. Alanyaspor beat them 3-1 on Monday. Not quite sure that was included in consideration for the Team of the Week this week. He got 2 goals and played an 8.6, which is quite impressive. 2 shots on target, 1 shot off target. So yeah, definitely deserves something of a recognition. Tiam up next. I probably mispronounced that. It doesn't look like a great card, but that aside, 2 goals, 1 assist, and a 9.5 match rating against Antalyaspor. which again is a very impressive feat. 2 goals, 1 assist would be enough if he played in the Premier League, but because he doesn't, will he get a look in? That's the question. 2 players worth mentioning from the Dutch league, both from the same club incidentally. Linssen of Vitesse. They beat Fortuna 4 goals to 2. Linssen popped up with 2 goals and played an 8.7. I mean, for me, that warrants an inform. They are currently 3rd in the league. They've started very, very well. They've conceded a lot, actually. Tanane is another one of those players, and of course his teammate. He got both assists for those goals, I think. Played an 8.7 as well. Played full 90 minutes. 86% pass accuracy. Had quite a lot of touches, actually. 65 touches. 8 key passes in that game, which is absolutely crazy. Definitely deserves something. Only the one player to mention from the French league, and he only played 21 minutes. I am, of course, talking about the guy that's basically come from nowhere, unless you support the club. Ninja or something. I don't know how to say his name. He looks tasty, though. Really cheap, obviously, because he's only a 78 rated card. Got himself a hat-trick in 21 minutes, literally, because he only came on for that long. Played a 9.7, only the 3 shots on target as well. Just a phenomenal performance, and definitely deserves an inform. Into La Liga we go, and 4 players worth mentioning this week, although in my opinion one of them doesn't really deserve it, but we'll move on. Ruben Blanco in goal for Celta Vigo, keeping a clean sheet away from home against Atletico Madrid with 6 saves and a performance of 8.5, 3 saves inside the penalty area. I'd be surprised if you didn't see him in Team of the Week too. Moving on to the midfield, and we're going to talk about Oscar Rodriguez. There's an argument to be made here, actually, about giving him a left mid card, because his heat map does suggest that he spent most of his time out on the left. Doesn't look like a particularly good card, especially as a left mid, but scored a goal, played an 8.3 in Valencia's 1-1 draw with Leganes. Not too bad at all. We're going to move on to a striker now, Willian Jose. Real Sociedad beat Espanyol 3 goals to 1. He got 2 goals in that 3-1 win. Played an 8.2, which is just on the cusp of a good performance. I think anything above an 8.0 is a solid performance. Anything beneath that is, you know, I would say about average, and anything below, say, I don't know, 7.2 is poor. But Willian Jose up there for sure. And we have to talk about the victory over Barcelona, of course. Granada with a 2-0 win, and Aziz getting one of those goals. But this is the player that I would say that if I was doing it from a logical standpoint, he wouldn't get it, because he's played a 7.1. He's only got 81% pass accuracy, didn't have that many touches, they were dominated for possession. To be fair though, they did beat Barcelona. It's definitely an achievement, an accomplishment, and they should be rewarded for it, but it's just a weird one, isn't it? Like, they beat Barcelona, so all of a sudden their players are in form, but another player can get 2 goals and 1 assist, but it's not a big game, so he's not going to get an inform. So it's a weird situation. Now we're into the Bundesliga, and Willi Orban up first of Red Bull Leipzig, of course, playing an 8.2. Kept a clean sheet away from home against Werder Bremen, and he scored a goal in there as well. Made 4 clearances in the process. Didn't have an awful lot else to do, to be honest. Only had to make 3 tackles the entire game, but definitely deserves an inform for that. Moving on to Dil Rossen. I've probably mispronounced that, and I do apologise. Mispronounced it, not missed. 2-1 against Paderborn for Hertha Berlin. He got 1 goal and 1 assist, playing in 8.2 on the left-hand side. Looks like a really nice, cheap starter in form as well, so would be nice to see him get himself an inform. As it would, actually, Felipe Coutinho, playing him in the cam position, played the full 90 for Bayern. I think it might actually be his full first 90 minutes. He got 1 goal and 1 assist in a 4-0 win over Cologne, and it would be really nice to see this guy get an inform, because obviously he didn't have the best of times when he moved from Liverpool to Barca. He is a bit of a snake, but I won't hold that against him. And finally, from the Bundesliga, Marcus Thuram came on for 23 minutes, and much to my pleasure, because I bought him on the Football Index, he managed to score 2 goals in 23 minutes. Not quite as impressive as the guy who got a hat-trick in 21 minutes, but still quite an impressive feat nonetheless, and definitely deserves to be recognised for it. Into the Serie A, and there are quite a few players to mention here. Up first is Caputo, a player who I've actually followed for a few seasons. A very, very good player. Sassuolo beat Spal 3 goals to 0. He got 2 goals in that game. He was subbed off in the 72nd minute, but he played an 8.3, and I think deserves to be recognised for it. Inform quality, I'm not quite sure. Berardi of Sassuolo, again worth mentioning, he got 2 assists in that 3-0 win. He played an 8.8 though, so it'll be an interesting one to see whether EA will go for the higher rated and more sought after Berardi, or the player who got both goals in Caputo. Yeah, very interesting to see what they do with that one. Milinkovic-Savic up next. I'd like to see this, to be fair, because I think he'd be a good card in FIFA. He's got some really nice stats, just the 85 in general. Lazio beat Parma 2-0. He played an 8.5. He got 1 assist in that performance with a 92% pass accuracy, and it would be... I mean, I wouldn't hold it against them if they gave it to him. But then again, I wouldn't hold it against them if they gave it to Luis Alberto. The issue with this is, would he be a central card or would he be a left-sided card? Because if you look at his heat map, he spent a lot of his time out on the left. Lazio, of course, 2-0 winners over Parma. He got 1 assist, and again, much like Milinkovic-Savic, 92% pass accuracy. So, yeah, they've both put in a very good shift there. And of course, it wouldn't be a Team of the Week predictions without mentioning either Ronaldo or Messi. And seeing as how Messi was on the losing side this week, it's Ronaldo's turn. 1 goal, 1 assist in a 2-1 win over Verona, who actually went a goal up in that game, I believe. So Juventus, as I'm going to call them, were not lucky to win, but they did come from behind. Will he get it though? No, let's be honest. He needs to do a lot more than 1 goal, 1 assist. Up next is a player from the Milan derby, a player that I probably wouldn't put in, to be fair, because he hasn't put in as good a performance as a lot of other people I've already mentioned in this video. It's just the stature of the game, I guess, that is going to probably give Brozovic the inform. He got a goal in that Milan derby where Inter beat Milan 2-0. I would say away from home, but they play at the same ground, don't they? Played a 7.5. His heat map looks quite impressive, but it's just the nature of the game. If it wasn't a derby, no one would be looking twice at this, so that's the only reason why he's on the list. And finally, into the Premier League we go with Aaron Cresswell. He, of course, got a goal in a 2-0 win over Manchester United. Now, in my opinion, again, this is a bit of an on-the-fence one. And as a Liverpool fan, don't worry, I will address the elephant in the room. He hasn't put in like a stellar performance. 7.6 is decent, but it's not like as good as some of the other players. And that brings me on to Trent Alexander-Arnold as well. Of course, he scored an absolute screamer against Chelsea. But besides that, he hasn't played like overly well. Again, a 7.4, so Cresswell played better. So if you're going to choose one or the other, it probably would be Cresswell, who, again, his goal was a banger. So, yeah, it's a weird one for me. It's the nature of the game, though, isn't it? West Ham beat Man United against the odds, so he'll get the inform. A big game between Liverpool and Chelsea, so Trent will probably get the inform. I don't know how I feel about that. A guy who does deserve an inform, though, Ricardo Pereira. He's put in an 8.1, scored himself a goal, and of course Leicester came from behind to beat Spurs 2-1. So again, it's a big game, but he's actually put the performance in to back it up as well. Now, to be fair, he's scored a goal much like Trent and Cresswell, but you can't have 3 fullbacks from the Premier League in Team of the Week. So it'll be interesting to see which one of these 3 miss out. If I had to choose one, it would be Pereira. And of course, Manchester City decided to rival the Rugby World Cup scores this week and thump Watford 8-0. Bernardo Silva at the heart of it with a hat-trick. It'll be hard for EA to include more than one Man City player with the sheer number of players that are potentially on offer this week for Team of the Week. But if they do decide to do it, I would imagine Kevin De Bruyne would be up for an inform as well. But Bernardo Silva with a hat-trick probably takes the biscuit there. Played a 10, which is unreal, unheard of almost. Crazy return. Now, with that being said, I have left out a few leagues. I've kind of almost done it on purpose, of course. We've not talked about enough goalkeepers either. There are a few players worth mentioning. You know, I've not looked at the Chinese league. I've not looked at the Mexican league. I've not looked at this, that, and the other league. And it's because I said to you last week, I'm not going to be doing Team of the Week predictions in a standard way anymore. I'm just going to pick out the top performers from around Europe. And, you know, if I look elsewhere, MLS or whatever, then obviously I'll pop some in here or there. But generally, I'm just going to put in what I've noticed. This was... okay, research I've done, sure, but it's more for recreational purposes than it was for video purposes. So I'm not going to do the Team of the Week predictions as I normally would do. It takes longer to do this in terms of making the video, but in terms of the research, it's research that I do for things like the Football Index anyway. So it's not like I'm going out of my way to produce this, if that makes any sense whatsoever. If you want to see more and you want to see it every week, then feel free to leave a like and, of course, a comment down below, and I'd be more than happy to do it. If I was was to go out of my way and research the MLS and the Chinese League and the Mexican League and the Russian League and so on and so forth, it would take me even longer, and then I would just not do it because it takes me hours upon hours over what this video would normally take, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I've taken up enough of your time, but like I said, if you do want to see more, just hit that like button and obviously leave a comment down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and until the next time, goodbye.
Football Index. The game changed. Download the app now.